Yes, you guys, look at how pretty it is. I didn't want to come for a walk this morning. I just felt really tired and unmotivated, but I saw the sun was out, so I came outside. It's about 7:30 in the morning, and just the sun shining through all these ice-covered branches is so pretty. And I'm like, I'm so glad I came out here. It's beautiful. Probably our last wintry scene that we'll have. Maybe not, never know. Just wanted to share. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Farrah, and today is the start of a new vlog. It is the end of March, and I missed a few weeks of vlogging in there, so instead of trying to catch you up on what I have read, I'm just going to start fresh with what I am reading right now. So I have a couple books going right now, as usual, and I'm just going to quickly talk about what I'm reading, what you guys can expect in this vlog for the next 2 weeks or so. One book that I'm really trying to finish is my Historathon first quarter pick, which is, it's taking me like months to read this, but this is Cleopatra, A Life by Stacy Schiff. And this is an account of Cleopatra's life taken from everything this historian could patch together to create a narrative, kind of a smooth narrative of what Cleopatra's life was, what kind of experiences she had, what her achievements were, and what kind of made her such a remarkable woman in history. What I really like about this book is the writing's really nice. She has a good sense of humor, which she weaves throughout the book. And I'm learning so much about Cleopatra and about that time in history. And these names that I've always known but haven't really known that much about them are starting to come together. When I first started reading it, I had to kind of like go back and forth because I'm like, wait, who's this person? Like, her dad's name I didn't catch on the first time I read it. So when he came back up a few times, I'm like, wait, who is this? Same with her sister. You know, the Ptolemies, there's so many of them. I'm like, well, which one is this one? And which one is that one? And it's just, it was overwhelming at first, but I'm in the groove of it now. The narrative is really interesting though, because it's not like completely chronological. Sometimes it bounces back and forth between events and years. And so it's kind of hard. I'm a total beginner when it comes to this time in history, so it is a little bit difficult of a read, but I am enjoying it and I've gotten used to the writing more. And this is one that I'm doing with the audio, so I'm immersion reading, which means I'm listening to the audio as I'm reading the book together at the same time. And I've just been having fun tabbing and underlying just different parts that are interesting to me that I never knew about. So Cleopatra's going really well. It's just something that I can't sit down and read a ton of in one sitting, so I'll try to do 10 to 15 pages a day. It's taking me forever. But I keep reminding myself that it doesn't matter how long it takes me to read things. Sometimes I think being on booktube, I feel a little pressure to get these books done within the reading event time frames or to get them done for the wrap-ups. And I'm really trying to let go of that because ultimately I want reading to be fun. I don't want it to turn into something that feels like a chore or something that I start to have like negative stress, around it. So doing better with that. But I do hope to finish Cleopatra. I'm making it more of a priority of my physical reading. So for audio, I just started listening to The Handmaid's Tale, which was not in my April TBR, but it was something that came available in my library holds, and it's a book that I own, and it's a banned book. or it was a banned book. I'm not sure of the history of it. So I jumped on it. So I have started listening to The Handmaid's Tale, which is really good. I'm really enjoying Margaret Atwood's writing so far. The Handmaid's Tale is about a dystopian world set in the United States that tells, I didn't want to look too much into the plot for this, so I'm trying just to go into it as blindly as I can. I've never seen the show. I think it's on Hulu Plus, but I've never seen the show. I do plan on watching it after I read the book, but all I know is it's a dystopian setting in the present time where our main character she's lived in the world we've lived in before, so she reflects back to that time. But now it's I guess the world's fertility rate has decreased, and there's these certain women. Women are treated more as property, it seems like. And she seems to be in a group of women that wear red that represent the fertile women, and they get sort of passed around. We have people called the guardians and the angels and the eyes, and they all have different jobs in this society. But I like the main character so far. I like her. It's a first-person point of view, which I love. And I'm just a little bit into it. I am finding that the audio is not completely working for me because the world building is so interesting that if I'm multitasking, I keep missing stuff. So I prefer to physically read this. So I'm kind of reading it as I go along with the audio too. So that's The Handmaid's Tale. And then I'm also working on The Secret Adversary by Agatha Christie. This is book 1 in her Tommy and Tuppence little 5-book, I think it's 5-book series that she has. And this one's really fun. I'm not going to talk too much about this one because I'll do a separate vlog like I usually do for Agatha Christie. But this is fun. I like these characters, especially Tuppence. She's kind of quirky, and they're just in this crazy little mystery, and I'm liking that so far. And then the final book that I'm working on is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, and this is the 3rd book in the Harry Potter series. And this is also a book that I own, but I'm reading this on my Kindle because it's an easier reading experience for me. I do love e-reading, I won't lie. It's so nice to read in low lighting and things like that. But this book is really good. These are such cozy books for me. I read book 1 and 2 already. And so this is the 3rd book in this series. And I know the story already because I've seen the movie, but I just love her writing. I mean, J.K. Rowling, I'm not going to get into the person of J.K. Rowling, in some of the drama that's come out about her. But I have to admit, she's a wonderful writer in these Harry Potter books. And, these ones were really well edited. And I just love the world of Harry Potter. And I love the characters. And it's fun I feel like when you're reading the books, you're getting a little bit extra, from the movie. So it's following pretty closely along with the movie, but it's just fun to have a little bit more intimate view into that world. And I'm at the part where Harry is, he's back in the magical world after just leaving his horrific family. And he's meeting back up with Ron and Hermione, and their semester at school is starting to begin. There's one thing about the Harry Potter world that does drive me crazy, though, and it is that I feel like she attributes very stereotypical traits with bad people. So she attributes ugliness and fatness with being mean and cruel. And I do notice this in her books. When you think of her family, Harry Potter's Muggle family, they're all just described as huge and overweight and ugly and horse-faced and all these mean things. So that's just something I always notice about her books. And I know this is middle grade, and maybe I shouldn't be looking too deeply into it, but I don't know. It bothers me a little bit, just being honest with my critiques. But otherwise, I'm having fun with that. So those are some of the books that I'll be focusing on in this vlog. I'm sure other things will pop in as I mood read. It's raining out now. It's nice and cozy. And we're supposed to get an ice storm. So we'll see how we do with that. Ice and snow. And then it's going to get warm again. And then I think it's going to snow again. So this is typical March weather. But hope you guys are all doing well, and I will check in with you soon. Hey everyone, I'm outside before work on my walk and just wanted to show you we got a bit more snow, as you can see. It's actually April now, and will this be the last storm? Just never know. It's so beautiful though. So I figured I'd come back on and do a tiny little update as I'm outside here on my walk before work, and it's a beautiful morning. I don't even have a coat on and the birds are everywhere. I can hear the frogs in the distance, and the sun is out. It's so beautiful. I am ready for spring, definitely, and I hope that winter's over. Although you never know, there could be one more, but yeah, so I'm focusing on Cleopatra and the Secret Adversary. And for Cleopatra, this is quite a long book, I think, for what the topic is. And it's really interesting. I mean, I'm learning so much. I didn't realize there was going to be so much about Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. We really do get into their lives quite a bit, and I'm sure that's because a lot of the historical records are focused on them more so than Cleopatra. And the whole experience of reading this is interesting because, I mean, how do we really know what is true and what is just coming from the perspective of the male historians who documented this all at the time and their biases of women in power? So I'm taking it all with a grain of salt. It's really interesting, but Cleopatra is really held at a distance. You don't feel an intimacy with her at all in this book. You do more so with like the males, Mark Antony and Caesar especially. But I am enjoying just kind of the overview history of what happened during that time. I really didn't know anything, to be completely honest. I wouldn't say this is the best beginner's book when it comes to Cleopatra, but it's interesting. It's really interesting. It's just long, and it's taking me a really long time to get through it. So I'm eager to get through it, and I will definitely be finishing it this week. The Secret Adversary, on the other hand, is really, really fun. It's light for what it is, for what they're really talking about. It's very light and it's fun, and I'm not finding any pacing issues like I have in some of her other books. So I'm really enjoying it. So once I'm done, I should finish those two books this week, and then I'm going to get back to The Handmaid's Tale, which I started. I'm just trying to read one book at a time. And the other book I just wanted to quickly mention that I'm absolutely loving is called The Comfort Book by Matt Haig. This I got out from my library a little while ago, and I started reading. I'm just reading it a little bit each day. Oh man, I feel like everybody should read this book. It's so, it's a compilation of Matt Haig, who, if you didn't know, he is the author of one of his more famous books called The Midnight Library. And I didn't realize that he had gone through such an experience of depression when he was younger. And he just compiled all the things he learned along the way to help him overcome that and see through that. And, some of it is pretty deep, and it gets down into the really darker areas of depression, which I have not experienced, so it's kind of difficult to relate to. But we all get sad, and we all have those times of depression and hopelessness. So in those sections, when he's talking about, just his words are very comforting and they're very relatable, and it helps, I think, to change your perspective a little bit and your mind frame. And sometimes without these times of sadness and darkness, you wouldn't feel the power of the happiness as strongly. Like, for example, if our winter wasn't so long, I wouldn't be so in awe of this beautiful grass right here, this green color, the dew that's sparkling off of it. I wouldn't be so appreciative of hearing the birds if I didn't hear them for 6 months, and the frogs that came back out of hibernation and are in the breeding season. So it's just like stuff like that, which, you may not think about. I think that sadness is vital to our existence. It's the contrast that illuminates the happiness and the joy in our lives. Because if we were constantly happy all the time, I think that the joy of that would wear off, if that makes sense. So just want to give my thoughts for that. I'm really enjoying this. I'm definitely going to be gifting this book out to other people in my life. I'm going to be giving a copy each to my daughters when they're older. This is it's a really beautiful compilation. I'm about halfway through and it's really good. So that's my quick little update out here on my walk. I'm going to walk a little quicker now, get back to the house and have my breakfast on the porch and start Cleopatra up in the 20 minutes I have before work. So hope you guys are doing well, and I'll check in soon. Okay guys, so great news. I finished 2 books since I started the vlog. So the first one is The Secret Adversary. This was really fun. I really enjoyed it. That Agatha Christie. Man, she tricked me again. I mean, I wouldn't say this was the most shocking whodunit type of story, but this was more of a mystery thriller, I guess I would say. And she really tricks you back and forth right at the end. So I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed learning the characters of Tommy and Tuppence. And I think my next Agatha Christie book is going to be the only one I have in this series so far, and I'm trying again to stick to the Read What You Own challenge, is the final book in the series called Postern of Fate. I have heard that this is not her best book, like by a long shot. So that kind of works out because I do want to get some of her less favorite books out of the way first and save the really popular ones for the end of my reading project with her. But I did enjoy this quite a bit. It was a fun little adventure. Yeah, so I'll talk more about this. I should have a vlog coming out about this very soon, just a short little vlog. And then, you guys, I finished Cleopatra finally. This book was really good. I enjoyed my time reading it quite a bit. It took me a few months. When it comes to nonfiction like this, I really like to just sit down, take my time with it. I tabbed a whole bunch. I underlined a whole bunch. I learned so much about this time in history from this book. And really, I would say I'm a complete beginner in this time of, reading about this time frame in history. And I started out not really knowing much at all about any of these people that were mentioned in the book. But now I do have such a better understanding of the historians of the time, Delos and Plutarch, and just such a greater understanding of Caesar and Mark Antony, Cleopatra, all the different people involved, her family members, what she accomplished. And she was such an amazing and incredible woman. And the only thing I really want to say is that, like I mentioned before, we're really kept at a distance from her. You don't intimately get to know her because unfortunately you can't fully trust the historical records because of all the bias back in that time frame against women that were in power. But I really wish that, we can't, but I wish that we could have been able to see inside of her head a little bit more. I would have loved to know her emotions, through these different events that happened, what it was like to sneak into Caesar's palace, what she felt like, what her emotions were, how her personality really was. We only get a couple direct quotes within the book, and when they pop up, you're like, oh my gosh, she's here, she's talking to us. So I really, really enjoyed this. I feel like I'm in a Cleopatra kick right now. I have no idea where even to go from here. So yeah, if you guys have any suggestions of anything related to Cleopatra, Mark Antony, or Caesar that you would recommend, I would love to hear it. I do have Shakespeare's play, Mark Antony and Cleopatra, which I want to read, but I want to read like one more thing to really understand these people before I enjoy the Shakespeare's play. But I loved it so much. I really enjoyed this book. I mean, it wasn't perfect, of course, but really enjoyed my time reading it. So that is going to wrap up the vlog for now. Going forward for the next vlog, I'll try to start filming that tomorrow, but I am going to continue with The Handmaid's Tale. I'm still reading The Comfort Book by Matt Haig, which I'm loving. And then I just got King Kong on audio. So those will be the next books that I continue on with. But I just wanted to give you guys a really huge thank you for being here with me, for just all of you that stop by and say hi and your really awesome and sweet comments. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day and finding lots of things in your life that you can appreciate and enjoy. But I will talk to you guys soon, and thank you so much for watching. Take care.